Colin Damon here from Brrraains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for short, and it's they made what into a TV series, Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures, Season 2, Episode 19, Easter Egg Island, written by Ken Pontac. Yeah, well, we'll probably miss Easter by the time this episode comes out. So be it. But it is like, okay, Easter, I don't expect to see that. We've done Halloween. We've done Halloween and Christmas variations on them. Now we're getting an Easter episode, and this is an imaginative one, at least from a visual standpoint. There's some imagination in this episode. It's Easter, and you're shocked. No doubt shocked, but Betrayus hates the holiday for the usual reasons. His brother was treated better than him, at least according to Betrayus, anyway.
Of course, yeah.
And he wants to be cheered up, but it turns out everyone in the Netherworld has vanished. How strange. And I was like, okay, this is different. This feels different immediately. I'm on board.
Yep.
In Pacopolis, it's spring break, and many of the school residents are going away. Pac and Spiral have nowhere to go, and we learn a little bit more about Spiral's parents here, who kind of like are basically work in a factory or in a factory and make like holiday gifts. So Easter's quite a big, busy period for them.
What else?
Yeah. Cilly is planning to spend time with her parents, and there's a really fun like moment where Pac and Spiral basically want to come with her because they've got nothing to do, and they're awkwardly trying to ask, and she doesn't actually want them to. But we find out why as her parents and grandmother arrive. They're hippies. Listen, I like this. This has given us
Yeah.
development to the characters. We learn a little bit more about Spiral's parents here, and then to discover that Cilly's parents are hippies. Okay, all right, why not?
Yeah, I agree with the development, but it's far too late for development of characters.
Of
Uh,
course it is, of course it is. But I'll still, we still have quite a few episodes to go to the end. I'll enjoy something like this than rather
mm.
not.
Yeah, of course.
Cilly is anxious to leave and not impressed to find out her family have sold their home and are now living out of a van. That's got to be weird, man. That's like you're
Yeah.
living with your grandmother as well, like your mom, like your parents in a van. Okay. But she gets even more annoyed when they tell Pack and Spiral embarrassing stories about her childhood. So the whole thing is Cilly's a little embarrassed about her family.
Yeah.
As Betrayus roams the Netherworld, he finally finds out what happened to the other inhabitants. They've been kidnapped by the Easter chicken, something called the Pack Peep, who has done this in revenge for something Betrayus did as a kid. And we kind of get told he made our eggs basically stink bombs, which then blew up in other kids' hands. That is an outstanding prank, Kid Betrayus. I loved it.
But it also backs up that he was clearly a bad child and a bad person. So hence why he's where he is.
Yeah, he always does this thing, and we joked about it in the past, but we even said we only portrays this whole my brother was treated better than me thing only comes from him. I think he's lying.
Yeah.
Anyway, she does have some nice puns. Revenge is marshmallow sweet because she's made out of marshmallow. But yeah,
Yeah.
it did feel a bit different this episode because even this was a bit okay. This is weird. Cilly is still being humiliated by her grandmother, and she insists that Pac and Spiral come with them as they explore Pacopolis. Betrayus now arrives, but before he can be chowed on, he begs Pac for help eventually. And we get another funny scene where Betrayus can't verbalize the words for help. It's like, it gets stuck in his throat. He's going to vomit and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's funny. He tells Pac what's happened and reveals he needs Pac to help to hunt them down. Pac, naturally, is not actually going to help, which I did appreciate after
Mm.
all the ghosts. But Cilly points out that it also means the ghost gang are gone. Now, I do appreciate that they're at least willing to help their friends, but it's like the whole grand scheme of things, right?
Yeah, you just tell him that we'll help you if you promise to never ever attack us again.
Yeah, but all he's going to do is go, yes,
Yeah,
I'll
I
never
know.
attack you again. He's Betrayus. But this does result in a road trip with Betrayus in the car with them. And this shit is some of the funniest dialogue the show's done. Are we
Yeah.
there yet? Oh, we immediately he starts doing that. Honestly,
Yeah.
this I think is Betrayus the best of the villains we've had.
Yes. Yeah.
Like
Yes.
from a
Definitely.
comedy angle and the amusement. I like King Carol a lot. Fuck Professor Pester.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Betrayus because of the voice actor, the energy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's Betrayus. Then K-Roll. Yeah.
yeah. At Cersei's lab, the scientist reveals that all signs point towards Easter Egg Island as being Pac-Peep's lair, even though it's never been found before. But using a ghost hunting device and berry balloons to float the van, they head off to find the missing ghosts. But Silly's parents and grandmother are along for the ride, much to Silly's dismay. In the sky, Pac starts to get some readings, and we do hear Betrayus' inner thoughts suggesting that he's waiting for his opportunity to betray them. And I had to write it, sure, Betrayus, sure. Sure,
Yeah,
that'll work out, mate, won't it? They find the island and land, but its delicious nature is distracting the Pac. So basically, it's like a candy island. I
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
As they make their way around, they have to deal with dangers and traps that cause issues for Silly's family more than anyone else. They eventually have no choice but to split up, and Betrayus ends up with Pac. Again, when that happened, I was like, that's what we do. You put them
yeah,
two together. It ends up being like a game where you have to avoid traps, solve puzzles to find eggs which hold ghosts. I thought we got a very bit of a video gamey vibe here.
yeah, definitely.
And this ends up being competitive for Betrayus as it reminds him of his childhood. Basically, he thinks it's about getting the most eggs.
Yeah.
As the adventure goes on, they find a ghost gang as Betrayus gets ready to betray, but, shocking, he fails again as more ghosts are rescued. The Pac-Peep now confronts them and sets chocolate bunnies on them. They're forced to run until Pac eats a monkey berry, grows big, and start attacking the bunnies. Silly's grandmother discussed that hitting a chocolate bunny with a ghost egg turns the chocolate bunny back to normal and frees the person trapped inside. The Pac-Peep isn't done yet, though. As she prepares the spell, Cersei comes crashing in, knocking her off her perch. Silly's family now confront the Pac-Peep and show her how much Silly loved Easter as a kid. This makes the Pac-Peep emotional and happy, and she calms down. All the ghosts are freed and head back to the Netherworld. And everyone has remembered what Easter is all about. And it was kind of like, did they? Now, that's a bit of a weird message at the end. Because if
Yeah,
we're really what's Easter about, it's a religious holiday. Let's be serious here, right? But if you wanted to
yeah,
narrow it down to the child thing, it's nothing like there is no, to me, there's no hidden messages about Easter. It's not like Christmas or something like that. It's not about giving or sharing the way Christmas is or stuff like that.
mhm,
Easter is a commercialized holiday from the chocolate side of things outside the religious connotations. If you remove all the religious connotations, it's just a commercialized holiday about chocolate eggs, sweets, and stuff like that. There's very
yeah,
little beyond that. So it's a weird message in this one because, of course, it doesn't do anything religious in any way, shape, or form. However, I like this episode. I like the differences in style. I like the different storytelling. I think it's funnier than some of the other episodes. All right, it plays out the same way. But I like the fact that we kind of had this character, the Pac-Peep, who had thought, like, it's very Christmas. Thought they'd lost the spirit of Easter, so had
yeah.
become a villain herself. I thought that was cool, you know?
Yeah, it's a good episode. So, I mean, at the start of the episode, I actually thought it was going to go a different angle. I thought it was going to be like Silly not appreciating her family, and then Pac like, well, I haven't got a family, so you should appreciate your family. That's what I thought they were going to go, but obviously they didn't do that.
Yeah, they avoid the pack thing. We should say they do an ending where Silly kind of does appreciate her family more, but it is far from.
Yeah,
It's not the focal point of the episode. It's like a background bit. The focal point is still just really based around Betrayus and the Pac-Peep, more the Pac-Peep than
mm,
anything else. But it is creative, and creativity in this show at this stage is unexpected. So I'm going to praise
yeah,
this episode as being a strong one.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
There we go, episode 19, Easter Egg Island. You got any thoughts on this you want to share? You know what to do. Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It does help us out. You can find us at gbhbl.com and across all social media platforms. And if you really want to give us a bit of extra support, please consider buying us a cup of coffee over on our coffee page. Thank you.